Hi, my name is Erica Lewis, and I'm the Director of Self-Governance Compliance at Resilience, Inc. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to record this tutorial to show you what our department looks for in our internal audit project, and things that you should do as staff in order to stay in compliance with the policies and procedures. First thing I'm going to show you is how to complete your employee profile. So I'm going to share the screen now. All right. So the first thing you want to do is you want to be in Striven. And what you want to do is left click on employees, left click on list. And as you can see, it's defaulted to all teams, all divisions, all titles, and status active. Because what we care about are the active staff members. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to type in your name. And I'm just going to type in John's name. He is the CEO of this nonprofit. So I'm just going to use him as an example. So we're going to type his name in there. Let's pretend it's your name, okay? And then you're going to hit search. And so there's a title, there's a division, there's the teams, manager, and location, the email address, and telephone number. So being that he is the CEO, chairman, executive director, et cetera, he does not have a manager. However, everyone else should have a manager. So what you want to do is click on your name. Again, we're using him as an example. And we want to make sure that you have your birthday or the year that you were born. If you don't want to utilize your real birthday, month, and year, you could just put 1/1 in the year you were born. We just want to make sure that you are of legal age to participate in this internship and or volunteer opportunity. We also want you to add your contact information here. For instance, your telephone number, specifically your cellular, because with your cellular, we can text you. We can't text you if it's a landline phone, okay? You also want to have your email address. Your email address could be Gmail. It could be your school email, if that's what you're utilizing. It could be Hotmail, what have you. As far as the meeting links, you could put my private, send me a private message to set up an on-call or Zoom or some sort of platform if you want to use to interact with your teammates, your supervisor, what have you. Same thing with a scheduled appointment. You can also put send private message if you want to do that. Or if you have something, for instance, John Fay has specific links that he utilized for his meetings and scheduling appointments, okay? So specifically, you want to make sure that phone number is there, specifically cellular, and an email address. The next section is the employee info section. This information where it says start date, this should be filled in by the HR representative that hired you or brought you on board. That should be filled out by that person. The manager should be filled out by the HR representative as well. The location, you could go ahead and fill that out. Like right now, I am residing in Eastern United States of America, so I'm on the East Coast time zone. Your job title, this is something that you would receive from either the HR representative who onboarded you and or your direct supervisor / manager. Division, same thing. The division will be assigned to you from your direct supervisor. So he or she would make sure that you are assigned to a division. That's very important. We want to make sure you're assigned to a division so you can receive tasks in order to complete projects. And as far as your type, it will be internship or it could be volunteer, either one. But make sure that's filled out. The next section is Staff specific info. This is very important as well. Every single one of these fields need to be filled out. When you first start this internship, if you don't know the answer to specific questions like KPI or customer goals, you would type I do not know or I don't know in that field. And when you do that, after 2 to 3 weeks, you would need to revisit that and answer the questions. Because when you first start, you don't always know all the answers. This is when you will report to your project manager, your direct supervisor, your manager, and ask for assistance, okay? Leadership assessment results, please visit www.5voices.com and take free assessment, then list results here. So for instance, John Fay did the assessment and he found out that his leadership voices are pioneer, connector, creative, guardian, and nurturer. Okay, this is something to help you understand how do you lead, or how would you lead? What style or what approach would you utilize based on your natural leadership skills or your natural leadership elements of your personality, okay? Project, you'll fill that out. Again, project you may not know when you first start as an intern or a volunteer. This is something that your supervisor, your manager, your project manager should be able to help you fill out. Weekly team meeting time, day. You will put whichever day is best for you and the time to have your one-on-one weekly meetings or your team meetings within your division. It has to be at least once a week, okay? So what time and day or range of times and ranges of days that works for you. Team goals, again, this is something you will get from your direct supervisor, your manager. Available days, please list days and times. Example, Mondays 3 to 5. Again, these are the days that you can actually work on task. We know you're busy. We know you're in school and or you're working on a job. You know, some people have full-time jobs. Some people have families that they're raising. We understand that. So we want to make sure that we at least know, like, okay, on Mondays between 3 and 5 p.m., this person or that person, according to the employee profile, is available to partake in that task for that project that week. So each week, we require our interns to work a minimum of 5 hours. However, if it is an internship for credit for school, it's based on what your school requires in order to get credit for school. Some schools is 5 hours a week. Some schools are 10 hours a week. It all depends. So you need to make sure you go through your school if you want school credit and understand what are the requirements in order to get school credit. Okay, would you like a leadership role? We ask this question because there's plenty of opportunities to learn something new and to develop your leadership skills. So if you're not quite sure, you can select maybe, or if you really want to get in and you really want to get your feet wet and you want to take on a leadership role, then you will select yes. Expected completion date of internship, whatever date that is, that maybe it's just for one semester and you will be done by, you know, the finals of your semester. You want to put that date in there. So don't leave that blank. Personal goals, again, whatever in your goals are in life. You know, you want to be a school teacher, you want to be the president of the United States, you want to be an astronaut, whatever it is, we want you to put that there so we can help cultivate those things as far as skills or technical skills to help you get to where you would like to be in your life for a job or career path. Your major, we want to make sure we understand your major. Or if you're not in school and you went to school some years ago, you can still put in the major that you got your degree in. For me, for instance, my last degree was a master's in Master of Science in Management. So, I will put management there as far as a major. Hours per week. The requirement is a minimum of 5 hours. Some people in leadership positions, they may work 10 hours, maybe 15 hours. It's up to you. It's up to how much you can handle. But the bare minimum is 5 hours for everyone. And again, if you're getting school credit, it may be 5, it may be 10, it may be 15. It depends on your school. It depends on what their requirements are in order for you to get credit. So you have to really pay attention to what your school requires, okay? LinkedIn, we require our staff to have a LinkedIn profile. However, if you are not of age, because we have high school students that intern through this nonprofit, that's the exception because you're not of age to be able to get a LinkedIn account or a LinkedIn profile. But if you are of the age to get a LinkedIn profile, we require you to set one up. School. Again, you put whatever school that you are or you did attend. Are you receiving school credit for internships? Again, this is very important. As you can see, there's a red asterisk there. This is a very important question. We also want to make sure if you are getting internship school credit, we want to make sure that at the end of your internship, we are relaying the information in the most accurate way for your school in order for you to be approved and get your credits the best way possible. So there's no confusion. Action plan survey. This is something that you will fill out during your onboarding process. And this will be something that is a requirement in order to start your internship. So this question should be yes once you're on board. If not, or if you don't know, you need to refer back to your project manager and or the person who recruited you, the HR representative. That's something you need to refer back to them to get that information to make sure that you did what we're asking you to do. Customer goals. Again, this is something your project manager should help you with. You should get the information from your project manager. The company goals, same thing, your project manager. KPIs, same thing. Your project manager should be able to help you complete those fields. Who is your recruiter or who interviewed and hired you will be the person who interviewed you and told you welcome aboard. This is your recruiter, okay? And do you have an updated job description in your employee profile notes? Well, this question was kind of tailored for people that were already interns and needed to update their job description. But being that you're new and you'll be seeing this question, you probably will have to go to your project manager for assistance in order to select yes and add your job description. So for this question down here, it is associated with the notes section up here. So you click on the notes section. And this section right here would be your job title, a brief job description, brief goals, and then all the activities that you've done, that you've learned over the course of 1, 2, 3, 6 weeks, 3 months. Every week you will revisit this job description and you will number what, for the first thing, for instance, this is an example. Activity, run reports on activities. Number 2, meet with directors about reports. Number 3. So these are John Fay's activities that he does on a regular basis. For you getting started, you may have only 1 or 2 activities that first week. Then the third week, you may have another activity that you can add to your list. The goal is to have a list of activities that you've been very much involved in, projects you've worked on or completed, et cetera, et cetera. So when it's time for a letter of recommendations and things of that nature, then that content will be available to create a letter of recommendation, okay? So you want to make sure that this job description in the notes section, right, in the notes section of your employee profile is up to date. because at the end of your internship, we want to make sure that we provide accurate and detailed information regarding your contributions as an intern for this nonprofit organization. Okay. Again, this is very important. This is what we look at. This is what I look at within my division, just to make sure everyone has updated information, and you have your picture, right? You have to have a picture of your face. Your profile needs to be a picture of your face, not of a cat, not of a dog or tree, or the side of your, your image, your silhouette. A picture of your face. It does not necessarily have to be a professional picture where you go to a professional and get your photos. That would be great. But for the sake of this internship, we just want to see your face. We want to see your authentic face, okay? This is one part of the internal audit project within my division, what we pay attention to every week. Once a week, we run our reports and we see what's missing, and we go to the director of that division, and we'll tell that person that these are the people that have not done X, Y, and Z. Okay. So let me show you the spreadsheet. Let's see. Just bear with me. Okay. All right. So this is a platform that we use on Striven, this project management software that we use. And we utilize the Buzz post quite often, right? And this is what it looks like. It looks like a newspaper. And this is where we have announcements and reminders and things of that nature. So, for instance, I posted this audit a few days ago with regards to what I'm seeing that needs to be taken care of, okay? So, for instance, I said, hello, directors and project managers. Do check out the recent spreadsheet attached. Use the filter feature and select your division, and make sure all staff under your supervision have photos, telephone numbers, assigned to a team, etc. In a exception with regards to school attendance, blanks and false are not sufficient answers. Reminder, each staff member must have a LinkedIn account. Exception, you are under the allowed age to create an account. If you need assistance, then please guide them regarding how to complete this requirement. If they need assistance, then please guide them regarding how to complete this requirement. Complete all fields, even if the answer is, I don't know. Please note, after new hires have been active for 30 days, then their I do not know responses should have been clarified and updated. For example, KPIs, customer goals, action plans, things of that nature. After so many days, that should be filled in, and it should not have a I do not know or I don't know response. Again, division directors will need to complete staff's employee profiles if they fail to do such. So for instance, if you decide you want to be in a leadership role, and being in a leadership role, one of the requirements would be that your staff under your supervision have to have their employee profile complete. And if it's not complete, then ultimately you will be responsible for completing their profiles. So you have to stay on top of things. Now, I did add an attachment, so I'm going to show you now. This is what I do. I run a report and I convert it over or export it over into Excel spreadsheet. Then the report is ran through Striven. Okay, so I'm gonna open up this spreadsheet, and I've created filters. So that way That way, it's easier to find your division and relay the information to your staff. Again, if you are in a leadership position. So for instance, I'll select human resources. So I would send that buzz post to all the directors and project managers. And the directors and project managers should be opening up this spreadsheet and they should select their division. And I just picked on human resources. Okay. So all of these columns are what we're looking for in the internal audit project of the self-governance and compliance division. We're looking to make sure all these fields are filled out. And so far, I'm seeing this one person who does not have everything filled out. I don't see a telephone number. I don't see who recruited the person. I don't see if that person has a team assigned to him or her. I don't see their leadership assessment results. You know, are they a nurturer? Are they a pioneer when it comes to their leadership styles? So this is one person that the HR director and project managers should reach out to and get that resolved. So for instance, I'll select project manager and division director. These are the two titles within this department that I would need interaction with so they can relay the information to that person who did not complete their employee profile. Again, this is one of many internal audits that our division is responsible for. Okay. So again, this is the buzz post section. You can find that up here. This is very, very, very important to keep up with these buzz posts. Again, their notifications. They are announcements, reminders, things of that nature. When we have our weekly meetings as directors and our project managers, we have a required mandatory meeting every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And so we'll have reminders in buzz posts. Or I may remind someone or a group of people about the offboarding process, you know, things of that nature. We need to know when someone is going through the offboarding process so we can make sure we deactivate their accounts and they fill out a survey questionnaire regarding their experience, what we could do better to help them have a more enriched internship experience. Would they recommend people to intern with us and things of that nature? So this again is very much like a newspaper, and just pay close attention to it. I would suggest logging into Striven every day, if not once every other day. And then that way you are able to see your tasks that are assigned to you and vice versa. You don't want to be not active and trying to get trying to get school credits, and we can see your activity. We can see what you have and you haven't been doing and how much time you've been spending on specific tasks. So just keep that in mind. All right, so the next thing that I want to highlight as far as what our team in the internal audit project, what we focus on. Projects filled out completely, and every staff member is assigned to at least one project. So what I do is I click on projects, click on list, and these are the active in progress projects. So this defaulted to all projects. The project status is in progress. Priority is all. Okay. Division is all. Customer is all. Assignment categories all. So this is defaulted. And so these are all the in progress projects that are being worked on within Resilience Inc. Okay. If we don't see anything in Striven, be it tasks, timesheet, clocking in and out, and things of that nature, it's as if you did nothing at all. And we want to make sure you get credit for what you are doing, okay? So I'm going to utilize the internal audits project as an example, how it should look, okay? So you need to have the type of project. You need to have the division of this project here, the promise date or when it should be done, the status of this project, and notes, just a snapshot of the note, like what's going on with this particular project. And make sure that the date that you're updating or you're doing tasks and things of that nature for everyone to see is right here. So this is like your up-to-date date, like what's going on as of right now, what's going on with this project, okay? And that information, to add that and actually add all of this, you will click on the project, and under status notes is where you will have that date. Now, one thing about the Self-Governance and Compliance Division, this internal audit is ongoing. This project never goes away. So it will remain in progress status, okay? And whenever I'm working on something, basically I'm putting the date that I was working on something, a task or whatever within this one project. So ongoing internal audits is basically what this division is primarily in place to do, okay? The type is standard. If it was finance and accounting, you will select that. If it was gaming project, you will select that. If it was human resources project, you will select that. Or if it was IT project, you will select that. But if it's none of those that I just mentioned, then you will select standard project. That's the type of project that this is, okay? So for instance, internal auditing is standard project. Priority is normal because it's a constant thing. It's not due next week. It's not due tomorrow, but there are due dates within the project. So you have your milestones within the project, and within the milestones, you have tasks, and all the tasks have milestones, okay? Location, I leave that blank because this is a virtual internship and there's no concrete location. Now, do ask your project manager if there is a specific location, because sometimes it may, whatever your project is, it could be computer graphics, it could be grant writing, it could be financing and accounting or whatever, or it could be visual arts or something like that that's done at a particular school that is in person. So that's where the location would be if that project was done in person at a school. For the sake of this video and this tutorial, we're focusing on internal auditing, and so I'm going to leave that blank. Contact internal project tasks. I will be considered the project manager for this project. The division is self-governance and compliance, or whatever division. Maybe you'll be part of the IT division. Maybe you'll be part of the grants writing division, or training and leadership division. You know, we have several divisions, I believe about 11 now. A customer service division, gaming division. The start date is when I started was January the 7th, and the end date is the end of the year. Again, this is an ongoing audit. So being that it's ongoing, we'll put the last day of the year. However, many projects are not ending at the end of the year. It may be the end of the month. So you have to keep an eye out on the end date. The budget, you have to ask your project manager or ask the division director what the project budget is, how many hours. This is something, again, you will ask the division director and or your project manager. And the objective. My objective is to run weekly and monthly audits. It's very generic, but that's basically what the objective is. Now, the division that you may be a part of may have a totally different objective, So you have to pay attention to what the objective is. And in internal notes, that's those notes will be to help the next person understand what was involved in that. Okay. As far as milestones, the milestone will be, in my case, it's the month, and the due date is the end of the month. So the last day of the month is the due date of that milestone for that month. So I have January audits, February audits, March audits, and within the audit within that milestone, I have 14 for the month of March audits that I'm doing. Develop a 2023 project plan. Check out the incomplete profiles, which I just showed you how to complete your employee profile. And the list goes on and on and on. So there's a total of 14, and most of these are weekly audits. So each week for instance, I will click on weekly timesheet audit. Okay, I created this task because this is something that is required weekly for my division. So I created this task. And then over here, this pops up. And then there is a start date and there's a due date. So with this one, the due date is March 31st. I just put that there. But this is something that you will get comfortable with once you're on board and once you get situated and you get very much acquainted and you have the exposure of the Striven platform. Okay. So as far as clocking in and out, if you're working on, let's say, this task, for the sake of this conversation, you're working on this task. To clock in, you will click on clock in. So you will left click on this little clock icon and click clock in. And then you will unclick billable, and then you will click clock in. That's how you clock in. And then to clock out, you go up to your little icon here and click time clock. Let's see. And when you do that, a little box will pop up and have you clock out. So that's a way to do that. If you're clocked in already, you can clock out. Or let's say you forgot to clock out. You forgot to clock in, but you spent 3 hours on Friday, March the 24th doing that particular project, task, which is the weekly time audit. So what you can do is you can go to employees, timesheets, find your name. So you'll type your name. We'll use John as an example. And you can click search. And then you can click on the week that you're working on. Or for instance, let's say last week, for instance. Let's say this was the week of March the 13th, which is not. But let's just say it was, and you forgot to add something. What you can do is you could just say you worked 3 hours on that day and then hit save and resume. So that's how you can kind of manipulate the timesheet so you can correct those mistakes. If you forgot to clock in or you forgot to clock out, things of that nature, you can always come to the timesheet and you can manually type in the correct amount of hours that was spent on a particular task. And then again, you can click save and resume. And then once you're done with your timesheets are due on Sunday. So for instance, the week of, and we start our weeks on Monday. So the week of March 20th, Sunday, March 26th, the timesheet is due. The timesheet is due, so you would need to make sure you save all of your time spent on whatever task you were working on. And then you will click submit weekly timesheet. So you will be submitting your timesheet. Now, this may change in the future, but as of right now, you are submitting and approving your own timesheet. In the future, that probably will change. Okay? The next thing that I want to show you is how to actually add your team to your employee profile. This has been a bit difficult for some people to figure out. So if you click on employees and then you click on teams, and then what you want to do is you want to type your name. Let's use John again as an example. You want to type your name. And there's nothing there, right? So let's get rid of that. So what you want to do is, let's see, I think it was, okay. Just want to make sure I give you the right information. So let's say you are no longer part of internal audits team, right? But now you're part of human resources team. So you'll like left click on that, and then you will actually type your name. And again, I'm going to use John as an example. Okay. You will select your name. And then when you do that, you will click on save. And then you've added yourself to the team. I'm going to click close because I'm not adding him to the human resources team. But that's how you will add yourself to a team. Because sometimes people, again, they're not quite sure how to do that. So again, what you do is you go to employees, teams, find the team that you were told you were going to be a part of. So your project manager should have told you when you started, once you had your first one-on-one meeting with your project manager, he or she should have told you or informed you that you will be part of X, Y, and Z team. So again, that's how you would add yourself to a team. So again, let's say if you're part of the HR or human resources team, you'll click on that, and then you will select your name. Again, John Say as an example. That's what you would do, and then you will click save. Okay. All right. So I've discussed employee profiles, which is very, very, very important. Projects being filled out completely. Again, I showed you that. And let's see, clocking in and clocking out in timesheets. I showed you that. So that's another thing that, again, the internal auditing team focuses on within the self-governance and compliance division. Okay. So again, each staff member attends a weekly team meeting and monthly division meetings. Okay. So each team, and some divisions have multiple teams, like the IT department or the IT division has multiple teams. So each team staff attends a weekly team meeting and a monthly division meeting. So you have one big division meeting, IT division meeting once a month, and every week you have your team meeting. So let's say if it's 5 teams within the IT division, then all 5 teams will have their weekly team meetings. So that's something that the Self-Governance and Compliance Division pays attention to within our internal audits project. Okay. So that's something we pay attention to. And the purpose of this tutorial, this video, was to show you what our team, internal audit, what we're looking at on a weekly and monthly basis. We're looking at employee profiles. We're looking at timesheets. We're making sure that you're approving your timesheets. We're making sure you're contributing at least 5 hours, minimum 5 hours towards a task each week. So we're looking at that as well. And we're also making sure that we're reaching out to random people and asking them questions to see if the leadership within their division is relaying the information that they should have in order to understand what's being assigned to them and how to complete the task. Because sometimes there could be some miscommunication. We want to make sure everyone has a beneficial internship / volunteer experience. We want you to get something out of this opportunity. And if there's one division that you find that, I'm not sure if that's a career path I want to go in, you're more than welcome to raise your hand and say, hey, I thought I was interested in IT, but actually I'm interested in grant writing, or I'm interested in financial and accounting. I'm interested in compliance or whatever. So we have, let's see, at the moment, we have Information Technology Division, Marketing and Advertising Division, Selena Premium, Game Development, Human Resources and Administration, Outreach, Self-Governance and Compliance, Finance and Accounting, Customer Service, Research and Development, and Training and Leadership Division, Development Divisions. So there's several opportunities that you could learn more about a particular area, a particular industry, a particular sector, for instance. And again, this is a nonprofit platform, but you can learn so much more within the nonprofit industry versus for-profit and things of that nature. So there is a place for everyone. There's a place for you. And I would suggest that you take advantage of this opportunity once you're on board. If you feel that you're a bit overwhelmed, you're more than welcome to pause your internship. Again, if you're getting credit for school, you want to interact and communicate with your school or your dean or career services or whatever platform is utilized to give you credit for school. You need to contact them and understand what their requirements are, because we will work with you. We will help you pause your internship if needed, because things happen. People are can have emergencies at home and may fall ill, or anything could happen. And so we understand that. We understand there's a lot that's at stake. And if you're getting credit for school, you definitely want to pay attention to see what are the rules and regulations with regards to how that internship program is set up, and if it's okay for you to pause your internship. But on our end, you're more than welcome. If you can't handle it, you're more than welcome to pause your internship. Once you're on board, you can pause it, as long as you do not take advantage, and you are honest and forthcoming, and we can meet you halfway. So thank you again. My name is Erica Lewis. Again, I'm the Director of Self-Governance Compliance here at Resilience, Inc. And I appreciate your time. I appreciate your input. If you have any questions or concerns or comments or any feedback with regards to this tutorial, do not hesitate. I'm more than happy to communicate with you one-on-one and things of that nature. And enjoy your day. And thank you so much. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your understanding. Take care. Bye-bye.